Hello, I'm Phil Ernest in my 58th country, and this is Namibia. Namibia is located on the southwest coast of Africa. To give you an idea of the size of the country, the United States is about 12 times bigger than Namibia. In this video, I'll take you on a walking tour of Windhoek and also tell you how the Germans played a very important role in forming this city. While Hungry Lion is a South African franchise, the people of Namibia have certainly made it their own with lines out the door. The people of Namibia can't get enough of their fried chicken. Every Hungry Lion I walked into was crowded with long lines. So I highly recommend, if you're in Namibia, try some Hungry Lion for yourself. I found this to be uniquely interesting. These people set up their own business in front of other businesses. And these people take it one step further, selling groceries full of produce in front of a grocery market. And the kicker is, they're using the grocery market's baskets filled with their goods that they're selling to people. This is a unique looking building. This is the Aircraft Building, constructed in 1911 and designed by two German-educated architects. In fact, those two architects had their hand in designing a few more key buildings in the city, which I will show you a little bit later. If you're finding this video informative, please give it a thumbs up, and if you would like to receive more of this informative type of content, please subscribe to the channel. I post a new video every week. This is the historic iconic clock tower. This also has a German influence as well. It's located on Post Street Mall and Independence Avenue. Now, as you walk on Post Street Mall with your back to the clock tower, you'll find this promenade where people are out here selling little knickknacks and goods. There's also restaurants here. At the very end of this promenade, you'll find a mall where you could shop at, but also there is a tourist office here in case you kind of want to see what else is there to do in this fine city. This is where you would go. They'd give you directions and help you out there. Very helpful. And there's also some neat little artworks that they have along this promenade. So this is a pretty good, useful street to know about if you plan on coming to Windhoek. This is Zoo Park. It was originally unveiled in 1897 to honor members of the German colonial forces who died during the war against the Nama people. There is a war memorial in this park that was officially proclaimed a national monument in 1969. In 1884, Namibia was known as German Southwest Africa. Then, German rule ended in 1915 with a defeat by South African forces. The country was then called Southwest Africa. Following continued guerrilla warfare, Namibia obtained its independence in 1990. Soon afterwards, Cuba and Namibia officially established diplomatic relations and opened resident embassies. The name of this street you are looking at is Fidel Castro Street. They named the street that to honor the Cuban president. While it has been over 100 years since this country was under German rule, they still offer German language courses. These are two prominent buildings in Windhoek. On the left is Christ Church, and on the right is Independence Museum. Christ Church is a historic landmark and Lutheran church. It was designed by German architect Gottlieb Riedecker in 1910. The church has a mixture of Neo-Romanesque, Art Nouveau, and Gothic Revival influences. The church is located on a traffic island on Robert Mugabe Avenue. Directly across the street from Christ Church is another building designed by Gottlieb Riedecker. This is the Parliament Building, also known as the Ink Palace. The Ink Palace is surrounded by the Parliament Garden, which is very popular among the inhabitants of Windhoek. Just down the street from Christ Church is the Independence Memorial Museum. It focuses on the anti-colonial resistance and the national liberation movement of Namibia. The building was designed and built by Mansudae Overseas Projects, a North Korean firm. The gentleman proudly displayed in front is Dr. Sam Nujomo, the first president of Namibia. Directly across the street from the Independence Memorial Museum is the National Museum of Namibia. The thing I want to show you is look at the German architecture on this. You can tell spot by that German architecture from the square of this and then the little dome on top, see? Very Germanesque architecture. This is Mother Church. Well, the outside of this church looks fairly basic and standard like most churches. The inside of the church is much different than I would have expected. For one, it's a lot smaller. Two, it's round. Three, notice the big pipe organ in the back, and there are no stained glass windows. And if that wasn't enough, in the front of the church they have some really neat parquet wooden floor. This is the oldest congregation in Windhoek, formed in 1929. 1.2 kilometers south of the Independence Museum on Robert Mugabe Avenue, you'll find the War Memorial and Cross of Sacrifice. Inscribed on the Cross of Sacrifice are the dates of World War I and World War II. Now remember, at the time when World War I happened, this country, Namibia, was a German colony. So a lot of Germans were living on this in this country, so that's how they got involved in the war. And there's a placard right here in the center that says, "Those honored here died on active service and lie buried in cemeteries in this country." And there's 125 of these placards that you're seeing right here honoring each and every one of those soldiers that died. There's also a cemetery right next to the War Memorial, and this is what the cemetery looks like. This cemetery has graves of influenza epidemic victims, as well as graves of Union of South African troops and German forces who died during World War I. The German soldiers are the ones that have the Iron Cross on their graves. If you would like to see my other videos on Africa, please click on the link now. Thank you so much for watching.